Yo, what's up guys? My name is Sansrold, and today we're going to be making a lead in Serum similar to the one that Blasterjaxx and W&W used in their new track, Bowser. So, in the beginning of the video, I showed you guys the sound. Hopefully you guys liked it enough to follow the tutorial. If you guys don't want to follow it and just want to get the preset for free, you guys can go ahead and download it from evilsounds.com. However, if you want to learn how to make it, then make sure to stick around and watch the whole video through. We're going to be talking about how to utilize Serum in order to create that type of sound. Okay guys, so before we get started, I've been kind of distant from Serum in my tutorials for a bit because I was making a sound bank for it, and over the couple of months that I was making that sound bank, I got a better grasp of it, so hopefully I can teach you guys some stuff. Now this lead itself is very simple. To get it to sound exactly the same is really it's really difficult because of the processing that many different producers use, but we are going to get the basic idea of it down, hopefully, and we'll see what we can do with it. So yeah, so let's get to it. So a lot of the things that I'm going to teach you guys today are things that we learned in previous tutorials with Silent 1. The difference between Silent 1 and Serum is that a couple of the things, in order to achieve those effects, we have to do certain things differently in Serum in order to get that. So hopefully you guys stick around and can learn those. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to do is for oscillator A, this is going to be the hard part of our layer. What this means is we're going to be putting 8 units in, and we're going to detune them. I think 12 o'clock should be fine with the blend all the way up. The blend's going to make the detunement a little bit more noticeable. Now, we want the retrig on for this type of sound. Now, if you guys remember what the retrig is in Silent 1, it's pretty much that yellow thing that you click on and off, and when you have it on, the sound sounds a little bit more mono-ish than stereo-ish. So that's what we want to do, and the way we achieve that in Serum is all we have to do is put the R and phase all the way down at 0%, and then we put the phase down at 0 here, and now we should get it very mono-ish. As you guys can see there. Now, if you guys have heard a lot of sounds recently, like the new Tuhamo sound from Booty Bounce and all that, you guys do know I made a video that samples that sound. But this kind of sounds like what some of the layers for it. So it's pretty cool what we can do. So this is pretty much the simplest way of doing that. Alright, very cool. Alright, so we have it there. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to put oscillator B, and this is going to be our layer, which is kind of stereo-ish. We're going to put 8 unison and a little bit of detunement with the blend all the way up again. But this time, we're going to leave the R and phase up and the phase pretty much at 0 or 12 o'clock. It's up to you guys. Okay, so fairly simple. The type of filter we want to use is going to be a high pass for this one. However, we can utilize a band pass to get a more gritty effect. So that's up to you guys. A little bit of drive, which is going to pretty much boost all the frequencies that are in that filter. So pretty much it's like adding a high shelf to the whole filter, just boosting it. Alright, so now the next thing we want to do is we want to add automations to kind of make it sound punchy or give that kind of laggy effect. That's what I like to call it. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to put the octaves down all the way, but it's not going to, we're only doing this so that our envelope will activate in a certain way. One of the things I had trouble with when I was making the sound bank for Serum was that I couldn't get the same sound from the envelope being routed to the pitch as I could in Silent 1, and I was trying to figure out why. So pretty much what I realized is I have to have something set to the lowest value possible in order for that envelope to activate going only one direction. Because if I were to put this envelope right now here on 0 octave, this envelope would go in both directions, which is something I didn't really like, and it didn't give me that sound that I was looking for. So the only way I learned how to achieve it was to put the octave all the way down, put the envelope here, and now we have the envelope only going up. See, it only moves to the right instead of to the left and right. And now what we want to do is we want to put this octave back at 0. We're going to put this one over here too, back at 0. And now we can do what we know from Silent 1 to activate that whole punchy thing of changing the pinch really fast to get that clicky dun-dun-dun kind of sound, which kind of makes the sound a lot more powerful. We're gonna lower sustain, release all the way, and we're just gonna mess with the decay time a bit and see how that sounds like. And that's how we get that clicky effect in Serum. I had a lot of trouble figuring that one out when I was making the bank, but there you go, guys. I think that's one of like the main reasons why I wanted to make this video as well, was because a lot of the parameters in in Silent 1 can be transcribed over to Serum, but the problem is, how the hell do we do it when this shit like that happens? So anyways, back to the tutorial. So that's how we would do that effect. I think I'm gonna use a high 6. Alright, very cool there. Alright, so now the next thing I want to do is the LFO thing where I route it to the sound, so then it kind of gives me that really raspy effect. We're gonna be putting a sine, which we can alter thanks to Serum, but we're not doing none of that. We just want a straight out sine, and we're gonna put 1/16, which is a very fast one, and we're gonna apply this to the fine focus on both of them, and we just want to do it very, very minimal. Now, if you guys don't like that clicky effect, you guys can take it away by just moving this down, the blue knob. You'll see the blue start going down, and that's how the way we would kind of get rid of it. Okay, now the reason I put the envelope to activate the pitch emulation on the octave instead of the semitone and the fine focus is that, if you think about it, when you're changing octaves, you're changing pretty much from the same note G to another G to another G to another G, but they're just higher pitched. And in semitones, that's pretty much changing between notes, and fine focus is changing the pitch between notes. So what that means, between G and A, there's like a pitch there, and then that's what the fine does. The problem that arises when we do this thing is that if we put it on the semitones, we're changing notes, so it's going to give us a really, really off-key kind of sound. So the best way to do this effect with the envelope is to put it on the octave, and when you want to use an LFO to make the sound very raspy, and you just want that effect, it's best to go with the fine focus knob, because all we want is some movement in the sound, and that's what the LFO is going to give us. It helps us get that sound. Okay, so once we have that mono legato on, a little bit of portamento, we can have always on or off, it's up to you guys. But once we have that, we can add a little bit of noise, and I like to use the bright noise here, and we're gonna put a little bit. Okay, and now we can put the LFO as well on our face, just a tiny bit. Next thing we do is the reverb. Cute. Alright, so now with that in mind, the sound is pretty much complete, but I'm gonna give you guys a couple of tips in order to make it sound a little bit more like it, or get your own unique sound out of it. Okay, so as you guys can see here in blue A, B, we necessarily don't need to route part B to our filter, and we can kind of close it a bit more so we get the raspy sound of this. And then we can layer it with this. We can also grab a bandpass 12 and just have that be there. Increase the drive a bit. As you guys can see, we can do it many different ways, and you guys can, mess around with them. But the way we had it was with the high pass 6, with both of the sounds being filtered through it, and yeah. Fairly simple stuff, and then we can add distortion as well to kind of get that more greedy, more fierce, kind of in your face. Now the last technique is one that I developed a couple of months ago, but I never really thought about showing it to anyone. But the idea is that we use a chorus in order to pretty much, you know, affect the sound in a whole different way than normally. And a lot of sound designers picked up on it as well, and I've been seeing it a lot in patches. I don't know if they copied me or whatever. They probably found out on their own as well, but this is the method is pretty much you have your mix fully wet. You want to do this low pass, you want to open it all the way. We increase the delay because the delay is going to make the sound lag. And we decrease the depth because the depth is going to decide the width of the effect. And we want the sound itself, because right now it's at 100% wet. The whole effect is going to be applied. So we want that effect to be in the center. As you guys can see there. And now, if we keep going. Now we take the distortion off because that's going to make volume go down. And now we get that effect that I was kind of trying to show you guys. So it's a very cool effect. We want the rate all the way down as well, because then we're going to get that kind of flanger effect if you haven't heard it. So yeah, the chorus can get you a lot of crazy sounds. I use it a lot for movie design, movie sound design sounds. But yeah, that's one of the effects. So we're gonna leave the chorus wet around 45. And from there, we can increase the size of the reverb if you guys desire. But that's going to be it, guys. That's going to be the end of the tutorial. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you watched it all the way through, props to you. To be honest, I feel like not a lot of people go through the whole tutorial just because they do get kind of long. But if you're serious about being, you know, making your own sounds, it's highly worth it. Hopefully you guys learned something. And then you guys know the envelope stuff, which is really beginnerish stuff. But if you want to add more release to this, all power to you guys. Anyways, guys, that's going to be the end of the tutorial, and I'll see you guys next time.